Pipes and roars is working.
Here I am just sitting there hanging out, sorry. Right here. Being bad. Okay, Rhonda stole my power cord, so.
Uh-oh.
This is Google. What'd you do with it?
I used my own, so I didn't steal yours.
Oh, I don't buy that first time.
I had mine out of my bag and I used it.
You know where?
You did something with your own power cord.
I actually call it Chromebooks.
Mine, and look, it has my name on it. I can even show you. I can't unplug it because I need it. But here you go. Here's the one I have. It has my name on it. I stole his power cord. I think he's just getting old and forgetful.
What's the code?
I don't know. I'll have to see.
Intermediate code or nickname? Did you eat the last lunch or you just?
No, I didn't have any lunch, but I put it in the fridge.
Plug in so I get full brightness.
Mine has my name on it. I showed them when you were gone.
We have proof.
And I need a cowboy hat. I feel like a bandito.
This sunflower is joining in.
Almost raised.
Okay.
Well, we're at 3. We just need one more.
I see Jill coming in.
Bill's coming in. We got 4.
So you're in, Dwight?
No, I
Okay.
joined or started a meeting. What's my code? I don't. I don't know. Let me look at my Gmail.
Dwight. No.
Invitation, special board meeting. I think that one is Thursday. So the Thursday 1/2.
The Google Meet.
Correct. Opportunity for playground volunteers. Invitation, special board meeting. Monday. All right. You said you talked with Jimmy?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have 4. Was he coming here or was he headed?
He was headed to Zoom in.
Okay. Zero, 2, 2.
Did I hear from Steve?
She is not going to be able to. They're coming in. By me. Join now.
Are you on, Dwight? I don't see you yet. There we go. Are your last
Justin's
are
here.
your last two digits 50?
I heard Justin.
Oh, that's Justin.
Yep, Justin's here. Hi, guys.
Perfect. Hello, sir. We're waiting on
Lori,
Jimmy.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
My camera is not working, so I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's try this.
Thank you, Roger. Now I don't have to have a split screen.
I'm just going to join by phone.
Okay.
Zoe,
Hey, ought to be enough of that.
I'm at work playing with the dog. Sorry.
You're at work playing with the dog?
Yeah, he brings his dog in.
Oh.
I assumed that was Rhonda. You and Rhonda's animals can start talking to each other. We can get
Rhonda's
Yeah.
on mute.
I'll say, I had it on mute so you didn't hear her.
They'll start talking back and forth.
Thank you. Your PIN doesn't match a meeting that's ready to start soon. Enter the meeting PIN followed by the pound key.
Zoe,
The call will be connected when you enter the PIN followed by the pound key.
Yeah, I understand that. Let's see here.
Your call.
Okay, when I switch over to this screen on my, there it is. When I switch over to this screen, are you looking at my Google Meet or are you still looking at the agenda?
I see the agenda and all of our windows at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Followed by the pound key.
Yeah, I know. So. I can't remember 9 digits at one time.
Your EMT, 916 pound.
Your call will be connected when you
Thank
enter
you.
the PIN followed by the pound key.
53 were what? 916?
Yes.
Thank you. You are joining a call with more than 4 people. Your phone.
Founder.
All right, and that's you. Last two digits 65.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy said he's trying to get on, but it's saying he's denied.
Did he use a different name? Because I denied somebody that wasn't him. Yes, I denied his wife. I didn't even.
I'll tell him to try again.
So is my camera working?
Microphone on.
Go ahead.
Go on your computer too.
Well, my computer's not.
It's being picked up by here and your computer.
Is I there?
Yeah.
Should I turn off this?
There we go. That's better. Okay. Well, while we're waiting on our colleague Jimmy Shelby to get on, are we live?
Say yes.
Okay. For the public's knowledge, Tonight, we really are meeting in remote because this was a last minute special meeting that was called and not a regularly scheduled meeting. Those have been taking place in the boardroom on campus, and we have all been socially distancing in the boardroom the last couple of months for those meetings. But in order to continue offering this feature so people can participate in our meetings without physically being in the room, we will continue using the Google Teams or the Zoom platforms, even when we are live in person. So we're grateful for that technology, and we're grateful for the interest from our public over the last several months. So he says he's trying again.
Right on the computer. Right.
There. There's Jimmy.
There we go. All right, thank you. We now have everyone who will be available this evening. Is there a motion to call our meeting to order?
So moved.
And who is that? If you could remember to announce yourself. Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I second. This is Jill.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, as a roll call, say your name and yes. Lori, yes.
White, yes.
Sharice, yes.
Jimmy, yes.
Jill, yes.
Justin, yes.
Did we get everyone? Kelsey? Okay. Motion approved. Okay, the first thing on our agenda is to discuss the Coronavirus Relief Fund Agreement.
Okay, so in your agenda, there is an agreement that the county is requiring. It is a document basically holding the county harmless if we submit for reimbursement for an item that is later declined as being eligible for reimbursement. Because the money is being funneled through the county, they do not want to be stuck with a bill. If they reimburse and it is declined, it will be up to the district to refund that money back to the federal government. And it's perfectly legitimate to do. I've got no hesitation with recommending that we approve this agreement.
Were there any questions for Roger on that document? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. White.
Thank you.
Second, Sharice.
Sharice seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none and seeing nothing in the chat, we will vote. Again, please say your name and yay or nay. Lori, yes? Yay?
Sharice, yes.
Jill, yes.
Jimmy, yes.
Justin, yes.
White, yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. And then item 2.2 is to discuss the school calendar.
We had a leadership team meeting today, and I brought to the leadership team 2 different sample calendars to review and discuss and give feedback on. One started school on August 25th, and the other one started school on August 31st. And as we talked and went through the different options, they chose something in between. And so we worked up a new calendar to give the faculty time to adjust to the competencies that were just released, the security, safety protocols that we are putting in place to make sure that everything is received that has been ordered, and that we can be comfortable and confident that our plans are well established for the first day of school. And the calendar is in your packet, and it does start school on the 27th.
Can you project that?
Again, and I'm gonna try.
I can't get mine to open up.
Okay, we're at. Okay, so this is what we came up with. Puts quite a few teacher professional development days that they can work through the things that are going to be different about this year, and there are a lot. And so there are quite a few days for staff to get prepared and ready to go. The first day of school is this green box, the 27th. All students except for kindergartners. We traditionally start kindergartners one day late, so that'd be the 28th. I do a running count per month on each day. September, we have a holiday, but no other days off. In October, we have a day where students would be remote. It is the only, we're trying to cram a bunch of days in, so it's the only day off we have in October that we're not on campus. Normal November, we did add 2 days in December. Fortunately, Christmas is on Friday, so adding the 21st and 22nd still gives us plenty of time before Christmas. And then second semester, we basically didn't change much of anything. Second semester, green box starts on the 5th. Parent-teacher conferences in February. Spring break right where it was. Graduation would be the 23rd of April. The last day of school would be the 26th, sorry, May. Last day of school would be the 26th of May. The holiday isn't until the 31st. State track is the 28th and 29th. So this is when your state tournaments are at the end of the season. And it wraps us up still in May. 171 student contact days, which actually is half a day more than what our approved calendar was when we approved it in March.
Sharice, do you have anything you want to add from our meeting? You were in that group looking at the calendar.
Yes, one thing, one of the reasons we looked at starting on the 27th, in addition to just giving some teachers a couple more days, is that is a Thursday. So that would let us go to school on a Thursday and a Friday. If there's some major kinks, we've only got to limp through 2 days, and then we've got a little time to regroup before Monday, instead of starting on a Tuesday and trying to iron kinks out as we go, as well as the fact that our kids haven't sat in a classroom really since March, And so I feel like giving them a Thursday, Friday start, a couple days off, and then coming back on that Monday might be good for them, for their energy and their attention.
Yeah. So we haven't really talked about what back to school will look like.
Hey, Lori, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The other reason that I kind of went in thinking I was for the starting on the 31st, backing up those couple days to the 27th also allows our high school to get their full semester in without having to finish their semester into January and kind of making some of their college classes complicated. That was our other piece of that puzzle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So also in your packet is our highlight of the reopening plan, which we'll get to in just a minute. But as we're talking through the calendar, we are recommending starting school on a 5-day schedule and not having any kind of a hybrid plan, giving our students and our parents the opportunity to make a decision between on-site learning or off-site learning. And the plan will highlight that a little bit. But as we think about the calendar, in order to limit those cohort groups and not have as big of a mix in the secondary, we're recommending having the purple block schedule 1 week and the white block schedule the next week. So our first week that has 2 days, we will be able to meet with all teachers and all students those first 2 days back. But then next week, we'll start right into the purple block. So those secondary students will only have 4 classes that week. And then the week after, they will have the next 4 classes. So looking at the calendar, do you have any questions?
The only question, just review. I'm sure we'll do it later, but you're saying we're going Monday through Friday, all kids?
Yep.
And we'll just do purple and white?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the purple and white, if you have elementary kids, is something that's going to be foreign to you. That is part of our block schedule. The middle school does alternating blocks for the afternoon. The high school does alternating blocks all the time. And they normally alternate odds one day, evens the next. And to think out those cohorts, we're going to be doing odd 1 week, even the next week. So that will keep them together in their cohorts for 5 days at a shot. Instead of exposing 8 different groups, we're going to be cutting that back.
Are there other questions in relation to the dates on the calendar?
How is this is Justin, how is this impacting our flexibility on weather dates?
That is a good question. We do still have a sufficient number of snow days built into the calendar. So there is still some buffer. The other thing is that if we have bad weather coming, we may be able to use those as remote days instead of cancellation days, and we may not lose as many. Of course, we'd have to know it's coming to make sure that there were devices provided at home, whereas normally K-6 do not take their devices home. We would have to be able to pre-plan that.
So if they call for a storm,
then you would try to send them home the day before.
Yeah. Roger, now might be a good time to flip up that highlight document so we can walk through the different models that we're talking about.
I have too many windows open.
It's been a little bit of work going on today.
We had a good day.
Yeah, it was.
I really do appreciate the the efforts of the leadership team. It's nice to didn't close that, did I? I don't see that tab. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have to reopen it. Okay.
All right. So these are the highlights of the more detailed learning plan that we will have the opportunity to look at Thursday night. But this model is what we would like to release with the calendar for families, so they have that information. The 3 different instructional learning models that we're talking about are on-site, a hybrid, or an off-site. And parents will be given the opportunity at enrollment to choose either on-site or off-site. The on-site model is face-to-face instruction with students in the building Monday through Friday. Students and staff will follow all safety precautions outlined by the county health officials. And we can change that language if we want it to be more strict by our local board. But as it stands now, the county health officials are in alignment with what we want as a district, with masks being worn in our buildings or social distancing at least 6 feet away for all students and staff. Students will be grouped to limit exposure, and secondary students will follow that modified rotation that we just talked about. The hybrid model is a combination of both face-to-face instruction and off-site learning, and it would be used in a situation when we need to increase social distancing to prevent further outbreak. Students would be grouped by family and will either attend on-site on Monday and Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday. On the days students are not in the building, they will participate digitally with their regularly scheduled classes, and then Friday will be an off-site learning day for all students. In this learning model, students will be provided with technology to participate in real-time off-site learning, and attendance will be taken by each classroom teacher. This is why we wanted that practice day on the calendar in October, so that if we have to go into a hybrid situation, that we know our technology and how it will be able to work, and parents can figure out whether or not their broadband is capable of having multiple students streaming video at the same time, because it will be live, real time, continual learning, 395 minutes a day. And that's completely different than what we were talking about, or what kids had to experience this spring when we were in the shutdown order. The offsite model.
Lori, that hybrid model will be something that can be triggered by either the state, the county authorities, or the local school board. Is that correct? Those would be the 3 options that could put that into place.
I suppose there may be a federal as well, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Then offsite is when everybody is gone from the school, and that would be a shutdown order again. The remote learning option is the same idea as the offsite, that the student is learning from home. But in that model, again, it's real time, 395 minutes of learning each school day. And of course, the school district will provide the students with the technology they need to participate in that learning model. So the only difference between the offsite and the remote learning is that if a parent chooses the remote learning option, they recognize that their student will be ineligible to participate in some extracurricular activities that cannot be conducted remotely. Because if they're choosing not to be on our campus for school, we are saying that they should not be participating in extracurricular activities, changing those cohort groups that we've established during the day.
Lori,
I had a few
questions on that.
Yep.
I'm struggling with not defining The extracurricular activities that will not be allowed. I think that should be fine. And then if we go to a hybrid or off-site model, how could we do any extracurricular activities at the other school other than virtual? Because that sounds to me, if it's too dangerous to come to the building 5 days a week, it's too dangerous to go somewhere else, another school.
I think that'll be a decision that we will have to make as a school board when it happens.
You don't think we ought to define that now?
I don't have a crystal ball, so
I'm saying is, if we determine that we go here 5 days a week, and it gets too dangerous, and we go back to a hybrid model, then how can we even consider doing extracurricular?
I think that's something that we'll discuss over the course of this week. It wouldn't be necessarily in the highlight document, but it would certainly be something in the full document.
I think that before we start the school year, parents need to know what extracurricular activities won't be allowed. Because we certainly have to be thinking about that list. We can't take it child by child. It has to be activity by activity, so we ought to be able to define that now.
The definition.
The highlight overview and the more detailed document isn't done yet. It'll be finished hopefully by our Thursday meeting, the very latest, the August 6th.
Okay, you understand my
concern that I want that defined.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
And the thought there was that if you could participate remotely, that would be the activities you could do.
Yes.
If it's not functional or capable of doing it remotely, then you wouldn't be able to do those.
Okay.
And some of those, as far as extracurricular or elective courses, would have some of the same issues that if you honestly cannot participate remotely in a classroom activity that is going on, it makes no sense for you to be a remote student and still enrolled in those classes. It would make more sense for you to get into a class that would facilitate remote learning. And that would be something, we haven't defined which ones are which yet, but it really comes down to how capable is it to be remote for that thing. And if it's possible, we can allow it. And if it's not possible, then you're going to have to pick something else.
Yeah,
I just hate for them to think that, okay, I can figure out a way to get my child in a team sport or something. If I have them remotely, I think we need to make sure that's crystal clear of what choice you're making.
Okay.
Lori, I
Other
got a question.
questions about the three models?
Yeah, this is Jimmy. I got a question. How will this affect the kids going to the technical school in Salina, since they're going to be on they follow Salina, don't they? USD 305.
Well, actually, they're their own school now.
Okay.
So
but how's it going to affect them?
They start school on August 20th, and they are going a normal calendar year as it is now.
Okay.
So it really doesn't
affect us. Does that take that?
Right. That's why we wanted to leave this. If we had a spring break, it's still aligned with their spring break so that we don't have differences there.
So they're just going
more, so to speak.
Right. They'll have an extra week at the front end.
Okay.
And then they'll have time off at the end because the technical school breaks up for Christmas before we do.
Yeah.
Right, but they'll still have to come here.
Correct.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's all going to work, Miss Jimmy again. It's all going to work for college classes and everything.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like I'm pretty good shape with the calendar and number of minutes. I think we can make this work pretty well.
So page 2 of this document is outlining the services that our school provides and trying to give just a snapshot into the operational changes that will need to take place in order to keep our students as safe as possible and continuing to strive for excellence in education. So these are the 5 areas that we have that broken into. In the classroom setting, seating will be spread out as much as possible. Seating charts will be used to limit the number of contacts. Crossover between students in different classrooms will be limited. Sharing of objects will be discouraged. Sharing student storage space will be limited. Partitions will be installed, particularly where social distancing cannot be maintained, and classrooms will be cleaned and disinfected multiple times each day. Under health, safety, and cleaning, masks will be required prior to the entry. Currently, it is an executive order that temperatures will be taken. So we are going to start that protocol, and then it will be up to the local board if that executive order is lifted to make a different decision or make a decision whether to continue following it or not. There's an opportunity for frequent hand washing or hand sanitizing within our classrooms and our facility. Parents and staff will complete at-home screenings daily. Public access to the building is restricted. Field trips and guest speakers will be virtual presentations. High touch points in the school, so door handles, faucets, copiers, drinking fountains, etc., will be disinfected regularly. Hand sanitizer will be placed in classrooms, entryways, lunchrooms, school offices with high traffic, and playground entrances. And floor markers will encourage one-way traffic flow, and social distancing and signs will limit the numbers of people promoting best hygiene practices. Roger, I think in the big document that we're working on, that last bullet point, Megan edited a little bit, and it reads better than this statement. So before we publish it, we may want to cut and paste that back in.
I got a question real quick before you move on, Lori.
Yes.
To me. The hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Are we, I don't know. It's not any that's been recalled, is it? I know there's been some concern on some of the hand sanitizer.
Yes, so it doesn't have any methanol in it, and it has a minimum of 70% alcohol content.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. On our transportation, masks will be required on buses. Buses will be sanitized daily, and high-touch areas will be cleaned between routes. Seats will be assigned, and students in the same family will sit together where possible. Drivers will self-screen from health before each shift, and families will be encouraged to social distance at bus stops. Under food service, there will be no visitors allowed for breakfast or lunch. Hand washing and hand sanitizing will be required before and after a meal period. Online meal payment is encouraged rather than cash. Seating will be assigned. Single-use condiments will be used, and sharing of food or utensils will not be allowed. And the food service will be available in every learning model. Excuse me. And then lastly, for attendance standards, in every learning model, attendance will be recorded by the teacher. Daily attendance requirement will be 395 minutes in every model, and truancy laws will be followed. On-site attendance is required for in-person extracurricular activity participation. And when participating in remote learning, some extracurricular activities and elective classes will not be available. So feedback, please.
This is Jim.
Lori, this is Justin. I haven't had access to internet, so I don't have the document in front of me yet. I like the general points that I'm hearing. I know our community has been anxious to hear some of these points, so I'm pleased that some of these are coming along. So good work to you guys. And as parents and families have more specific questions, some of these bullet points I think are addressing concerns, but there's not a lot of specificity in it on some of those. And I'm sure that will be included in the larger document. and will come into place as staff takes those 2 weeks to these extra couple weeks to prepare. So I just think that we need, as those specifics become available and known, that we continue to communicate them as quickly as possible, and always with the caveat that this is a fluid situation and this is the approach that our district is taking at this time, so we don't get hung up on not sharing information just because it may change, because I think we need to be transparent with our community. But just know, I think that there's going to be families with more specific questions on some of those items.
Yeah, we agree. And that just the health and safety section that I was a part of working on today is already up to 8 pages. So there's a lot more detail in that other document, and that will become available to our family once we as a board approve it. And again, we hope that it's ready by Thursday for first review, but hope the final draft no later than next Thursday, August 6th, which was our next regularly scheduled board meeting.
The one area of concern I have, I don't know if there's any way to even fix it, is the water fountain. I wish we could figure out a way to either designate water fountains for certain age children, or is there a way to create your own container? I mean, the drinking out of the water fountain keeps concerning to me, and I may be wrong, but
in the other document, it addresses that in very great detail. We have installed more of those bottle filler stations.
Yes.
Actually, the language in the other document as it stands today is that no water fountains will be used to drink directly from, but can only be used to fill bottles from.
So you're going to
be able to disable that
function of the water fountain?
We can turn them off.
Yeah.
I mean, just that.
The spigot, not the bottle fill.
I don't believe you can turn off the spigot separate from the bottle filler on those items. We can turn off the items, the water fountains that don't have bottle fillers on them if we choose to. We removed 2 water fountains out of the building and replaced them with hand washing stations. And then we updated a couple others to bottle fillers. And so there's going to be more opportunities both for hand washing and for filling. And so the students will be encouraged. I believe the teachers are adding it to their school supply list to bring their own water containers, and they'll have that available.
Is there any?
I mean, can we get more of those bottle filler before now and then, or should we try to wipe that clear out? They're probably half unavailable. Yeah.
It is one of the things we're looking at, yes.
Okay.
I would be interested in knowing what a figure would be to provide a basic water bottle for all of our students.
Well, we did discuss that and thought it might be more of a germ issue than just putting it on the supply list so that there's some disaggregation between individual bottles.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
So people get their own bottle.
Yeah, and they don't get confused with somebody else's.
We maybe need a bunch of label makers to provide
to put the kid's name on it, even though they might look different.
Right. Sharice, you were in the classroom group. Was there any other discussion outside of this highlights page that you want to share?
Oh gosh, there was a lot, but we did talk about masks and needing to label masks and encouraging those to go home and be washed, or for multiple masks to be used. And I know some teachers are talking about getting lanyards so that if there's times when the mask doesn't have to be on, it would be attached to them so they're not laying it down and getting it picked up by someone else. That was kind of a mask discussion that was had. And still talking about how to distance those younger kiddos what that's going to look like.
That's the mask itself. That's the advantage of the gator type, isn't it?
Yes.
It goes down onto your neck.
If you can find one that's tight enough. Roger has had a hard time keeping it on his face.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think it works just fine.
Maybe we're going to have to take it down to Susan and she can take a little out of the back.
Yeah.
Lori, this is Jimmy. I got a question on attendance. Is it going to be just like if a kid if we have to go to online and a kid doesn't come on, are we going to get the phone call as a parent saying, hey, your kid's not at school today, like we do when they don't show up at school?
I think that'll be something that we will have to require yet.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sure we're going to get to it, but how's the teachers feeling? What are we going to do to protect the teachers and stuff like that, make them feel comfortable?
I think that what we're doing right now is doing that. Roger, do you want to talk about the teacher survey and then the family survey also before we take action on the calendar?
I sure can. One of the things that we're doing, of course, is to include teachers, which predominate the leadership committee, and they are in conversations with their group as well to make sure that there's feedback as we go. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, so this is some of the feedback from the survey that we did, and first category here, this is from the family survey. Knowing that we will follow state and local guidelines for health and safety, how comfortable would you be in sending your child to school? 574 responses, which is a fantastic response. I really do appreciate that. 41% were at a level 5, and only 7% were at a level 1. So,
and 5 was most comfortable, no concerns, and 1 was not comfortable at all.
Yes.
And if that parent had multiple kids, 500 could be a lot more higher percentage. Is that right?
They were asked to fill out one for each child. Okay. So it should represent.
That's still very good.
Yeah.
I'm estimating we will have just under 700 students. We got almost 600 responses. We're really only about 100. Now, I think there was a few duplicates in there that I'm still going to need to clean up, but that's an outstanding response. I really do appreciate the level of response. This one says, which of the following learning options, if available, would be your preference? 90% in school, in the building, and that is the direction we are looking to start. Almost 10% would like to try remote. And so we will be setting up that option as well. And again, it's 395 minutes logged in real time to the class as it's happening. And then this little sliver in here are students who are not planning to return. All told, all combined, makes less than 1%. This is from
Roger. I've heard, this is Justin, excuse me, Roger. I've heard several families that are interested in a virtual option that is different than just sitting in front of the screen, attending, attending as if you were in the classroom, just watching the video. That is something that our district does not have the capability to provide, is my understanding. Are you aware, are there districts looking at adding a more virtual option? I know several districts already have that in place. I'm curious if that has been discussed.
We have not really researched the option of providing a truly virtual school. To be a truly virtual school does require to be registered with the state as of last February. It's too late to go that way. So if as a brick and mortar school, you are trying to provide more of a online curriculum at your own pace, more like what a virtual school would do, you really have to document the logs, and there's collect the logs. That's what those other schools are doing, is having parent logs instead of being remotely attached to the classroom. They are logging 395 minutes on average per day so that they can be a full-time student in the other platform. One of the things that schools that are trying to do that, they are telling those students, if you are on that platform, you are on that platform for the entire semester. There is no going back and forth, because they are not doing the same things that we are doing in a classroom. And one of the nice things about this model is if we have a student that ends up in a 14-day quarantine, they will be able to stay up with their class. They may not be sick, but if they were exposed and they have to stay home for 14 days, they will be able to log in. Our teachers will already be providing that service to other students in our district, almost 10% of them if these numbers play out. And so that student will be able to follow along with their class and stay with their class.
So have that contact with their peers. Is that a good way to put it?
Yes.
For virtual school, would you have contact with the classroom? You would be on your own, correct?
They are still asking that they be contacted at least once per day from the school district.
But not with other classes. So that's a very big distinction between virtual and what we're planning on, correct?
Yes.
That's what I'm trying.
These charts come from the staff survey. What is your comfort level with starting August 13th? With 10 being the most comfortable and 1 being the least not ready at all, or not comfortable at all. You can see that the bottom 5 outweighs the top 5 on this, and it was one of the reasons that we were looking to delay school. We want to make sure that the teachers are ready, and these extra 2 weeks will give us that opportunity, and that will move the numbers over. I'm sorry, that's still from the student. No, that's from the teachers. I think I got this one mixed in. This one was from the students. I don't know how I jumped back and forth on that. My apologies. Which of the following describes your household internet situation? 91% say I have access to high quality. This number right here only has Wi-Fi, cell phone hotspot, and this number here does not have quality internet. So these are similar numbers to what we saw in the spring, maybe a little bit higher. Again, if we're having multiple students in one household and they are using video at the same time, that will bog us down. And so the district is looking at how we can help, and we will try to facilitate that as much as possible. This is from the staff survey. If you were able to make the decision, which day do you think would be the most? And no day jumped out. It was a pretty even mixture. And so we chose something pretty much right in the middle. Masks will be required on the bus and safety protocols will be in place. When I cut and pasted this, apparently it was randomly placing it on the page, because this is from the student survey again. The blue is they are comfortable. riding the bus. Red is they are confident in riding the bus, and over half of our students say they're either comfortable or confident. This number up here represents students who will be transporting themselves, which is a fairly high number. You're looking at a third of our students will find transportation of their own. And then the green number says they won't be coming on campus. And so that would represent those who are looking to go remote. And therefore they will not be coming to campus. Okay, and those are the charts that I had to share.
This is Jimmy. On transportation, is it going to be okay for kids to ride to school with their brother and sister and then ride the bus home? Is that going to cause any problems?
We have that on a normal basis. I don't see that as being a problem. We understand that circumstance happens quite a bit. An older sibling is in after-school activities, so they can ride with their sibling to school, but they won't have a ride home from school. Our afternoon buses tend to be less packed anyway, because we will have a lot of students who will ride the school bus to school, stay for after-school activities and miss the afternoon route, and they'll ride the activity route home or get picked up after practice. So I don't believe it'll be a situation that will cause us any concerns.
On the bus, you're going to need to run assigned seating by
we will run assigned seating, and we will group them by family unit, by when they get on, and by age. And we will make a choice that will make the best situation for all. Thank you.
Other questions?
Some feedback I've heard on the survey from from a handful of parents is, as they were filling it out, they felt they did it with the information they have at this time, but their final decision on their comfort level and their decisions about school attendance will be based upon their satisfaction or dissatisfaction with the plan that we'll be presenting over the next week or so here.
Sure.
We are wrapping up the online enrollment program, and there will be, we'll have to get this question in there as far as will you be looking to attend on site, or will you be looking for the remote option, so that the students may say that, and that's coming out. Within a week, we will have online enrollment rolled out to them. And so instead of taking another survey, the enrollment form itself will be the survey that will tell us a little more definitively. And so we can get this information out to our public in the chance that when they go to enroll, they will be able to make a more definitive decision.
What's the final deadline for enrollment?
We were originally looking at the August 4th date. I think we're probably just going to use that whole week and allow people to enroll online that whole week, and then we'll shut it off at the end of that week.
Which represents, so how many extra days is that?
Well, it'd be August 3rd through the 7th. And again, this will be contingent on when we're able to open it up. But instead of basically one day, they'll have 5 days to enroll. And since it's online, there shouldn't be any standing in line or waiting or any of that stuff.
Knowing that our meeting is scheduled for August 6th, can I request that it's closed before then so we have the full data to make out-of-district decisions?
I do appreciate that, and that is a good suggestion.
Any other questions?
Yeah, this is Jimmy. And this question may have to wait until Thursday, but on teachers, if they get quarantined, how are we going to handle that? Because I know they may not have enough days, and stuff like
So
that.
that's part of a memorandum of understanding that we are working on with the negotiating team right now.
Okay.
And that'll take us more time than we have tonight, and is still in early stages. We want to make sure that staff feel comfortable, and that we are able to provide a safe, secure environment both for the staff and for the students. And that is one of the things that we want people to feel comfortable with saying, hey, I'm not sure I should go into work today because I was exposed, or maybe I have a fever, and feel comfortable staying home and not be weighing the option of, I've only got 2 days left, I should probably just go in, it'll be fine. We don't want people to take that risk, and especially with students as well. With our options, if there is a question of whether or not you were exposed or whether or not you may be symptomatic, we'd like to err on the side of caution, because the ultimate goal is to keep it out of our building.
All right. Other questions about our calendar or the reopening highlights?
This is Justin. I appreciate Teresa's comments, talking about the 31st versus the 27th. I think our teacher's voice is the most important voice. I think a lot of us have heard from a lot of parents and staff the last number of days here, and there's a very wide range of perspective on what the right answer is.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, in my opinion. Those are all important voices, but the most important is teachers and their comfort level. And I want to, was the leadership team unanimous in support? Was it unanimous in support of this reopening date?
Yes.
Okay. My second comment is just, I think we should continue to develop, I think this document is the first step in our communications plan, and I think we should continue to develop a communications plan of how we will in fact, a perfect example is what you just stated, Mr. Stump, about it is important. We want our families and our staff to know that we want to embrace your safety, and if you feel like you shouldn't be here, we want that to be a freedom that they feel to prevent it from the building. So just some sort of platform or regular communication, or just our strategy in communicating effectively this plan. And as situations remain fluid between now and the reopening date and after, just thinking strategically how our administration and our district is going to communicate that to staff internally and also to the families of SES.
Yeah, so Roger and I talked about that a little bit this afternoon at the end of our leadership meeting. And once this calendar is approved, his intention is to record another video and release that with the highlights document and the calendar and the plan for enrollment. And then I totally agree that I think we need routine communications at least through the first month of school, maybe weekly, just to keep everybody connected to the decisions that are being made. We're meeting routinely during this time, and I just think it calms people's minds to know, even if a decision hasn't been made, that we are working on it.
Yes, I wholeheartedly second those comments, Lori. I think even if we don't have answers, just regular communication that our families can know is coming. And even if we don't have black and white answers as a district at that time, just information of what we do have available and that communication is happening. I think that will be very helpful. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Are there other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion in regard to the calendar?
This is Sharice. I move that we accept the calendar as presented by Mr. Stump with our student start date as August 27th.
Okay. Is there a second?
Jimmy, second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Therese, would you be willing to add into your motion as presented by Mr. Stump and unanimously by the district leadership
So
team
moved.
or whatever that official
Yes, that's fine.
name is? Thank you.
And then my other question is, do we need to indicate which piece of the 3-tier learning we'll be starting in? Does that need to be part of the record, or since it's normal that it's just normal?
My only hesitation with saying that it will be on site definitively in a board motion is that we are a month away.
Yeah.
And things could change in that month. Our intention is certainly to start on site. We are gearing up to start on site. All of our plans wrap around starting on site, but
I don't want to follow our current plans, but they may change.
Yeah,
Maybe
I appreciate that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. I'll start with you, Justin, top left corner.
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Dwight,
Yeah.
Jill,
still
She's-
muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
yes.
Yes, sorry. We're trying to get the camera rolling while this is up, so
No problem. So was that a yes vote?
yes.
Okay, thank you. And Lori, yes. Motion passes 6-0. All right, thank you all very much for this extra time this evening. I know that 3 more days makes our families feel better to have the information. So Roger can proceed in communicating that with everyone in the district. There is another district leadership day of work scheduled on Wednesday. And then we have our next board meeting scheduled Thursday evening to review our strategic plan and goals for this school year, as well as looking at the more in-depth process of the reopening plan. And it may not be fully ready to roll out, but we'll get an update on that Thursday night. Anything else? And then we'll also talk about negotiations Thursday night.
So this, the start date, I assume, will be announced this evening via communication message from the district.
I will get this out as soon as that I can. I will need to make sure that I draft a message so it goes out correctly and clearly, and we'll try and get this out in the next couple hours.
All right.
Lori, can
Okay,
you hear
thank
me?
you.
Yes, Jill.
Okay, so this isn't about the calendar, but the only other thing I saw on social media for like kindergarten and first grade is they're using like plastic milk jugs for kids to sit their water bottles in. So I don't know if we want to ask our teachers if they think they're going to need something like that, like just the bottom half
Okay.
for the bottles. So
Great. We'll get that passed along.
Lori,
Yes.
on the message that goes out, we might also make sure that we say that kindergarten will be starting on the 28th.
Great. Yes. And that has been our practice in the district. On the 27th will be their opportunity to come with their parents and have their individual
okay, I'm back.
and bring their supplies like we have done in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Sharice.
Thank you. Second.
Second. Fine.
All right. All those in favor, leave the meeting. See you Thursday.
Bye.
So yeah, I'll get out of this meeting if you want to look at it.